everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I am doing some fall new releases. Feature mug, because we are officially in fall and winter season, so most likely I will have a new mug in every video. Don't quote me, but we're going to try, because I have a lot, and I do like to showcase the mugs during the fall and winter season. So this time we have a beautiful, cute little up mug with Doug and Russell and, the adorable gang and the balloon houses. Super cute. Water in here because obviously my voice is going to go away by the time this video is over. So I have my phone. I do not have Goodreads up. Shows you how prepared I am, but at least it's easily available. Okay, so I'm going to go through December, so technically that's still fall as well. I have quite a few books to talk about with you all for the rest of the year. So I have a few thriller mysteries. I have a couple middle grades. I have one Christmas book, well actually a few Christmas books, and then a few fantasy and sci-fi and a lot of Christian fiction. So let's go ahead and get started. So in my thriller and mystery section, I don't normally gravitate towards a lot of them, but I'm really excited about this one. Is this the first one that comes out? Probably. Yes, it is actually. So the first one is actually a Christmas book that comes out November 12th, and it's I'll Be Home for Mischief by Jacqueline Frost. It's book 5 in the Christmas Tree Farm mystery series. I have loved this series. I've read books 1 through 4, and I thought that she was going to stop, and I'm like, okay, great. Like, I read all 4. No, she wrote a 5th book, so I'm really excited. I highly recommend these books. They are super clean, cozy mystery books. I love them. They're one of my favorites. I haven't read a ton of cozy mysteries, but so far that is my favorite, honestly, I think. I just think they're so sweet. They're all set around Christmas time, so I probably will wait for this book to read it until after Thanksgiving, but very excited to read this one because all of them have been really cute, and they've kind of been following the same characters, and there's a little sweet romance going throughout, which the romance honestly isn't even really that heavy. There might be 1 or 2 kissing scenes in the entire series. There's not much romance. So if you're not a huge fan of romance, but you still want a cozy mystery, check out this series. Then the next thriller mystery book that I have, I think all these, 2 of them are on December 3rd, and one is called Havoc by Christopher Boland. The cover got me because it looks like a Hitchcock thriller, and I was like, this looks so good. So this one, it's on the vein of The Bad Seed, which if you don't know, it's I think I've watched it once, but it's an old black and white movie about this kid who was pretty much an absolute terror. And so this one we're following an 81-year-old widow named Maggie Burkhardt. She came to the Royal Carnac to escape, but not in quite the same way as most other guests who are relaxing at this threadbare luxury hotel on the banks of the Nile. Maggie, a compulsive fixer of other people's lives, may have found herself in hot water at her last hotel in Switzerland and just might have needed to get out of there fast. But here at the Royal Carnac, under the hot Saharan desert, or sun, she has a comfortable suite, a loyal confidant in the hotel manager, and a handful of sympathetic friends. Similar long-termers who understand her still vivid grief of her late husband Peter, here she is merely the sweet old lady in room 309. One morning, however, Maggie notices a new arrival at a mournful-looking young mother named Tess and her impish 8-year-old Otto. Eager to help, Maggie invites them into her world. But it isn't long before Maggie realizes that in her longing to be a part of their family, she has let in an enemy much stronger than she bargained for. So, it sounds good, and I'm really intrigued to see it. There's only 10 reviews so far, and it's got a 3.85 rating, so not terrible so far. And then the last one that's coming out that I was intrigued by, it's called Trouble Island by Sharon Short. It comes out also December 3rd. And it's inspired by real place and events, which I was really excited about. And even more excited when I read that it takes place on Lake Erie. I live on Lake Erie, so I'm like, this is perfect for me. I need to read it, especially when it's based on real events, and it's based on real events of the author's family. That's how excited I am. So in this one, it's set in the middle of Lake Erie. It's called Trouble Island. It serves as a stop-off for gangsters as they run between America and Canada. The remote isle is also the permanent home to 2 women, Orly Escalante, who serves as a maid to Rosita, lady of the mansion and wife to the notorious Prohibition gangster Eddie McGee. In the freezing winter of 1932, the women anticipate the arrival of Eddie and his strange cohorts. I don't know what coterie means, but I mean, coterie? I don't know what, I gotta look that word up. His right-hand man, a doctor, a cousin, a famous actor, and a rival gangster who Rosita believes murdered their only son. So honestly, that sounds amazing. And then it's based on like her family's true history is even better. And I'm really excited. And it's got a rating of 4.04 with 49 ratings so far. So I'm intrigued and it sounds amazing. So let's see. And then the last one, which I think might be more of like a romantic mystery. It's a YA book publishing on December 31st. It's called X Marks the Spot by Gloria Chao. It's a swoony rivals to lovers romance. Family secrets that can't stay buried. A globe-spanning treasure hunt with puzzles to solve. You know I love a treasure hunt. I'm writing a treasure hunt book, so this is perfect. It says, for Gemma's whole life, it has always been her and her mom against the world. As far as she knew, all her grandparents, and thus her ties to Taiwanese culture, were dead. Until one day when a mysterious man shows up at her door with the news that her grandfather had just recently passed, and the first clue to a treasure hunt that Gemma hopes will lead to her inheritance. So it sounds really good. I don't read a lot of YA, but this one did sound really interesting. All right, now we're going to go into middle grade books. And there was one that caught my eye because of the cover and the title, and it's called From Wonderland with Love. So it says, once again, Alice gets swept away into the world of whimsy known as Wonderland, this time as a spy. She is codenamed Alice, when the nefarious Knave of Hearts steals tarts, a very powerful and very secret weapon. From Wonderland, the king and queen send the White Rabbit to recruit the most qualified person they know for a recovery mission, Alice. Just like that, she is sent into Looking Glass Land with her super spy gadgetry and her knack for getting into trouble. What could go wrong? Okay, it does sound like middle grade. But it sounds really good. I mean, a spy twist on Alice in Wonderland, that just sounds like so much fun. I think I know a booktuber who would enjoy that as well. Okay, the next one for middle grade, I think, I did go out of publishing order. I do apologize. That comes out November 5th. So let's go back to October. October 1st comes out this book called The Millicent Quib School of Etiquette for Young Ladies of Mad Science. That's a long title. If you're looking for a long title book, there you go. So this one just looks adorable. The cover it just looks so cute. So this one we're following, I forgot to tell the author. Kate McKinnon wrote it. So it says, so you want to be a young mad scientist. Congratulations. Admitting it is the first step. The second step is reading the definitely true tale of the Porch sisters. So Gertrude, Eugenia, and Dee Dee Porch do not belong. They don't belong in the snooty town of Antiquarium, where where all girls have to go to etiquette school, and the only dog allowed is the Bichon Frise. They don't belong with their adopted family, where all their cousins are named Lavinia, and their aunt has more brooches than books. And they certainly don't belong at Mrs. Wintermarch's etiquette school. They're far more interested in science. After getting kicked out of the last etiquette school that would take them, the girls expect to be sent away for good, until they receive a mysterious invitation to a new school. Suddenly, the girls are under the tutelage of the infamous Millicent Quib, a mad scientist with worms in her hair and oysters in her bathtub. At 231 Mysterium Way, the pizza is fatal, the bus is powered by gerbils, and the dean of students is a hermit crab. Dangerous? Yes. More fun than they've ever had? Absolutely. But when the sisters are asked to save their town from an evil cabal of nefarious mad scientists, they must learn to embrace what has always made them stand out and determine what side they're on before it's too late. It sounds super cute. I'm excited for that one. Next comes out on October 8th is the Bletchley Riddle by Ruta Sepades and Steve Sheehankin. And when I heard that she was coming out with a middle grade book, I was like, yes, please. So this one is about an historical adventure. It follows two siblings at Bletchley Park, the home of World War II codebreakers, as they try to unravel a mystery surrounding their mother's death. Summer 1940, 19-year-old Jacob Novice and his quirky younger sister Lizzie share a love of riddles and puzzles, and now they're living inside of one. The quarrelsome siblings find themselves amidst one of the greatest secrets of World War II, Britain's eccentric code-breaking factory at Bletchley Park. As Jacob joins Bletchley's top minds to crack the Nazis' Enigma cipher, 14-year-old Lizzie embarks on a mission to solve the mysterious disappearance of their mother. Okay, and then the last middle grade book I have for you is called Slouch by Christina Wyman, and it comes out on October 22nd. And I have never read any of her books before. I know she's written Jawbreaker, and this is her second book, I guess, and I just love the cover. And being a tall girl myself, not super tall, I'm 5'9", but like I've almost always been 5'9". Like I've been 5'9" since like 8th grade, maybe even less than that. I mean, I was 5'6" at the age of 10, so I know what it feels like to be tall. So this one is about a girl named Stevie Crumb, and she doesn't want to stand out. But when you're nearly 5'10", which honestly isn't like the super, in 7th grade. So yeah, she was almost the same height I was. It's kind of hard not to. All anyone wants to talk about is Stevie's height, even Stevie's parents, who would just love for her to be an athlete like her basketball star older brother. Sure, Stevie wants to be good at something, maybe even great at something. She'd just prefer it didn't draw even more attention to her lanky frame. A chance encounter leads Stevie to the school's debate team instead, where she meets cute fellow debater Cedric. He's shorter than she is, and Stevie doesn't think anything of it, until her best friend points it out. Then strange guys on the subway start making comments about Stevie's body too, which is not only annoying, but scary and unsafe. It's time for Stevie to ask for help, set some boundaries, and realize that standing up and standing out isn't such a bad thing after all. Okay, we are done with the middle grades. Now I have one in the mainstream genre for a Christmas book, and it looked really cute. I love the cover, but we'll see if it's actually really good. I'll let you guys know, because I'm actually hoping to get the NetGalley, although I might have been denied. I can't remember, but it's called All the Jingle Ladies by Beth Gerard. It comes out October 4th, and the cover's super cute. It says, Molly hates Christmas, and it's not even her fault. Her mom and dad had the biggest ever Christmas single when she was a child, complete with video evidence of Molly in a hideous Christmas costume, joyfully singing the mortifying last line that everybody knows. Molly has spent her life trying to play it down, but then the song is used in the hottest new Christmas film. It's only November, and it's already everywhere. And when Molly meets a cute guy at the premiere, how can she stop him from working out who she is? But Molly isn't the only one hiding her real identity. Will her Christmas romance turn out to have a Hollywood ending? So yeah, sounds really cute. And of course, as I said, the cover is really adorable. All right, on to fantasy and sci-fi. I have a few that I thought would be interesting. There is 2 in the fantasy and sci-fi realm that's coming out on October 15th. The first one is The Shadow Road by K.D. Kirchmeier. And the cover is absolutely stunning. It shows like this dragon claw or some kind of claw coming out of the sky, and it just looks phenomenal. So in this one we're following let's see. When the monsters came, the power went out. Towns and cities became darkened ruins, and terrified survivors fled west, trailed by the blitz, dragon-like creatures screeching down from the sky and shrouded in lightning delivering death. The old world is ending, but not all hope is lost. Left behind is a timid dreamer, Thomas, and a brash and outspoken daredevil, Cassie. When their paths unexpectedly cross, they must outwit both monsters and humans alike on an epic journey across a dangerous, ravaged landscape if they hope to do the impossible, reignite hope, defeat the Blitz, and save humanity. So it sounds like it's more of a YA sci-fi fantasy book, but I'm intrigued. It sounds really good. It says for fans of Rick Yancey and Neil Shusterman, which I don't know if I've read any of their books, but it sounded really good. And then the other one that's coming out October 15th is called Wish I Were Here. And I'm not exactly sure how this is fantasy. I really don't know, because I think I do have the NetGalley copy of this, and I'm really I'm unsure why it's fantasy. So let's see. It says for type A mathematician Catherine Lipton, growing up with a free-spirited single dad who worked part-time as a clown was more than a little stressful. So as an adult, the only place she'll allow for variability is in her data sets. Everything in Catherine's life is ordered, from her lists to her lesson plans at her new job as a college professor. Catherine's carefully calculated life goes awry, though, when the university's human resources system rejects her employment paperwork, soon after her credit card is declined. At the Social Security office, Catherine makes a shocking discovery. She's disappeared from the government's records, and there's no evidence she exists at all. Catherine can't seem to convince anyone she's a real person, even though she's standing right there in the flesh. I mean, it sounds amazing. And I think there's a little bit of a romance too, but I don't get why it's listed in fantasy and sci-fi. It's kind of interesting. Okay, it actually doesn't in lists featuring this book. It's under contemporary romance, YA novels. I don't know if it's YA or not, but when I looked it up, it was listed under fantasy or sci-fi or something. I was like, okay, I don't know why, but it did sound really good. Okay, the next one that comes out is November 5th, and it's Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Secrets of the Nile, Book 2. So I don't really want to read anything about it because I don't know, but I know the first book is called What the River Knows, and a lot of people recommended it to me, because I'm writing a treasure hunting book and said it had kind of those feels to it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on my list plus book 2. So we'll see if I end up liking it. I will have to remember to actually look it up. So the last one is coming out December 3rd, and it's called The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. And I really love the cover. It's got like, I think it's got like a house in like a silhouette of a lady with a bunch of pretty garden flowers around. So this one, it says, a young woman channels the magic of the lush, fantastical plants that adorn her crumbling estate in the peculiar garden of Harriet Hunt, a darkly enchanting novel. Since her father's disappearance, Harriet Hunt has been completely alone. Her only company is the garden she cares for meticulously, a wild place full of twisting ivy, thorny roses, and more magic and miracles than bees buzzing. But being alone as a woman in the world means she is vulnerable, and when suspicion for her father's disappearance falls on her, she marries to protect herself. But her new husband might be worse than her father, and she soon realizes she is integral to a dark plot created by the men around her. To free herself and discover the truth, she must learn to channel the power of her strange magical garden. So I'm intrigued. I'll see how it is, see if I like it or not. We have one coming out December 10th, which is called We Are the Beast by Gigi Griffiths. I actually do have the NetGalley book for this. And I basically requested it because of the cover. It's quite interesting. I believe it's a YA book. And it says, when a series of mysterious deaths start plaguing the countryside, and whispers of a beast in the mountains reach the quiet French hamlet of Mende, most people believe it's a curse. But to 16-year-old Josephine and her best friend Clara, the beast isn't a curse, it's an opportunity. For years, the girls in Mende have been living in a nightmare. Fathers who drink, brothers who punch, and homes that feel like prisons. And this is a chance to get them out. Using the creature's attacks as cover, Josephine and Clara set out to fake their friends' deaths and hide them away until it's safe to run. But escape is harder than they thought. If they can't brave a harsh winter with little food, if the villagers discover what they're doing, if the beast finds them first, those fake deaths might just become real ones. It sounds amazing. I have a feeling I'm going to really like this one, so I think I'm going to put it on like my October, November TBR because I think I'm going to really enjoy it. Okay, our last section is for Christian fiction, which obviously I have a ton. And yeah, there's a lot. And hopefully these are not going to be in exact order because, yes, Goodreads, right? Okay, we'll try though. We'll try. We'll at least be in the same month. So two books have already come out on September 3rd, but I haven't talked about them on one of these videos. So the first one is The Christmas Tree Farm by Melody Carlson. This is her new Christmas book, which I do enjoy a good Melody Carlson Christmas book. I think they're super sweet. So this one, we're following Madison, and she returns from several years teaching overseas. She has high hopes of picking up where she left off at her family's Christmas tree farm in Oregon. But between damage from a recent wildfire and the neglect due to her sister's Addie's unwillingness to invest, the farm is in sad shape. In fact, Addie is intent on selling the property. And to top it off, her former high school flame, the now widowed Gavin Thompson, has plans to break Madison's heart again by turning his neighboring property into a dusty, noisy dirt bike track for his daughter. With the odds stacked against her, Madison decides there's only one thing to double down on her dreams. It will take a ton of hard work and some help from an unlikely ally to save the farm she so dearly loves. Sounds really cute. I'm excited for that one. And the other one that came out on September 3rd was A Token of Love by Carrie Taransky. This is her newest book. And this cover kind of reminds me of, oh, hold on, I actually have it on here. I just realized I actually have both of those books already. Well, I mean already, I do because they came out a few weeks ago. But yeah, so A Token of Love by Carrie Taransky. This book reminds me of her release from, was it spring that came out, I think? But it really reminds me of that cover. So this one, it's 1885 London, and Lillian Fremont embarks on a treacherous journey to reunite with her long-lost niece Alice, who was abandoned at the Foundling Hospital 8 years ago. Fueled by her sister's plea and armed with the gold token that identifies her niece, Lillian teams up with investigative reporter Matthew McGivern to expose the grim reality of the shadowed streets of London. As Lillian and Matthew unravel the mystery of Alice's disappearance, their partnership blossoms into one of shared purpose and undeniable attraction. So it sounds good. And it's also present-day London, too, where Janelle finds herself unexpectedly running the Foundling Museum. So we got a little bit of museum's history along with the actual Foundling hospital back in the day. So that sounds really good. Then we have a few more in September coming out like the last week. We've got A Hope Unburied by Kimberly Woodhouse that comes out September 24th. It's the Treasures of the Earth Book 3, which I'm really excited about because Book 1 was pretty good. Book 2 was really good. And so I'm really hoping that book 3 is going to be just as good as book 2. So I'm not going to say anything to spoil myself or you because it is book 3, but in each one we're following a girl who's somehow involved with archaeology, and there's a mystery going on. So I'm really excited for book 3. And then the last book that is, oh no, I have 2 more in September. Wow, there's more than I thought. The next one is The Color of Home by Kit Tosella. And I believe it is a debut, but don't quote me. Yes, it is. So it says, Audrey Needham, Bay Area interior designer to the rich and pretentious, is down to her last nerve. Her boss is impossible to please, her future is in jeopardy, and her great Aunt Daisy needs support as her husband descends into Alzheimer's. When Daisy enlists Audrey's help preparing for a move to assisted living, Audrey risks her career to return to the idyllic small town of Charity Falls, Oregon, the summer stomping grounds of her childhood. But Charity Falls was also the place that broke her heart when her father was killed in a tragic fire at the Sugar Pine Inn 13 years ago. Despite Audrey's intent to avoid emotional entanglement, the pull of home is hard to resist. Something should be done about the deteriorating inn. A local girl with an incarcerated father needs a friend, and handsome local do-gooder Cade Carter is coloring Audrey all shades of uncertain. And then the last one that comes out in September, hopefully it's the last one, is Tony Shiloh's newest book, which comes out September 24th, which I do have a copy of. And that is The Christmas Catch by Tony Shiloh, which is a sweet holiday novella. And I don't think it's connected to anything that I know of, but when I heard football romance, Christmas, I was like, yes, please, I need to read this. So I do have a review book as well as also from the author too, so that's really nice. So in this one, we're following 2 high school sweethearts who reunite. Will they take another chance at love or let life sideline them at Christmas? Benched with a career-ending injury, NFL wide receiver Jaleel Walker is forced to return to his hometown of Peachwood Bay during the holidays to heal, despite his rocky relationship with his father. Nothing shocks him more than running into Lucille Baby Gordon. BB Gordon came home to Peachwood Bay 3 years ago with a divorce certificate and her daughter. When Jaleel returns for the first time in 8 years, all the memories of the past come rushing back. The connection between them is still strong, but Jaleel has no plans to stay in Peachwood Bay, and BB won't risk him leaving her again. As their hometown's Christmas festivities bring them together, Jaleel must decide if he's only home for the holidays or if the Christmas spirit that brought them together will last all through the year. So sounds super cute, and every time I'm gonna read Jaleel's name, I'm gonna think of Jaleel White. He's like one of my favorite actors, so hopefully I won't think of Steve Urkel in this book. But anyways, so really excited about that. Now we can go into the October releases, and I don't think I have it on here. I don't, but I did remember it's coming out, I think on October 1st, is Hope Like Wildflowers by Pepper Basham. I've already read it, I've already loved it, I've already talked about it a few times on this channel, but if you have not read it, please read that entire series. It's called My Heart Belongs in the Blue Ridge. And each book is fantastic. I love Pepper Basham. I got to read this literally months and months ago. So I'm just ecstatic that it's now releasing. And I actually pre-ordered a copy because I don't have a physical one. And I needed to get it as soon as possible because, I mean, who doesn't love Pepper Basham? And honestly, I think her historical fiction books are probably my favorites. If I had to choose between her contemporary and her historical, which is really tough, not gonna lie, but I honestly think I like her historical romances a little bit better. And just this one is top notch. Love it. Go and pre-order it if you haven't. If it's still on sale on Amazon, go and buy it because it was on sale for 30% off or something. So I was like, I gotta grab it now. So might as well. I'm not gonna spoil anything because of the first 2 books, but if you've been waiting for Kizzy's story, here you go. It's coming. And I'm just so excited for the world to read it. All right, another book that's coming out October 1st, which is actually our buddy read for the Journey Through the Bible Readathon, which is happening all the month of October. So if you did not know about that, I'll link it down below in the description box. But we are going to be buddy reading Brave by Me Sue Andrews. So if you were wondering why your library doesn't have a copy, that's probably why, because it's actually not out yet until October 1st. So request that your library purchase a copy, or purchase your own copy because it is on sale at Baker Bookhouse. So for 40% off plus free shipping. How could you go wrong with both of those? So this is part of a new series by Me Sue Andrews. She's publishing through Bethany House now, which I'm really excited about. And it's called Brave. And we're following all of King David's brides in each book. And in this one, we're following which I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. I'm not great at some Bible names. We're following Ahinoam, a fierce and unconventional Canaanite woman. She flees her family farm with her dagger-wielding father to join the ragtag band of misfits led by the shepherd-turned-warrior David, Ben Jesse. As King Saul's treasonous accusations echo through the land, Ahinoam's conviction that David's anointing makes him Yahweh's chosen king propels her on a perilous journey to Moab, only to encounter hardship and betrayal. And as I said, Ms. Sue Andrews is like one of my favorites. I literally own every single one of her fiction books. Every single one. Even her novella collections. I own every single one. And so whenever she comes out with a new one, I'm like, I gotta have it. So happy that book is coming. Maybe it'll come early. I don't know. I don't know yet. But very excited to read that one. They're all really good. So join, even if you're not doing the Journey Through the Bible Readathon, feel free to join in the buddy read because she's going to be my guest at the end of the month on this channel. I'm so excited. I love her. We have 2 more books coming out on October 1st. One is All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley. This is her new book, and I think I have a NetGalley book of that. And this one says she was so sure she knew her family's story. Now she wonders if she was wrong about all of it. 1969, when Maddie Taylor's twin brother was killed in Vietnam, she lost her best friend and the only person who really understood her. Now news that her mother is dying sends Maddie back home, despite blaming her father for Mark's death. Mama's last wish is that Maddie would read some old letters stored in a trunk from people Maddie doesn't even know. Mama insists they hold the answers Maddie is looking for. And then back in 1942, Ava Delaney is picking up the pieces of her life following her husband's death at Pearl Harbor. Living with her mother-in-law on a secluded farm in Tennessee is far different than the life Ava imagined when she married only a few short months ago. Desperate to get out of the house, Ava seeks work at a nearby military base, where she soon discovers the American government is housing Germans, who they have classified as enemy aliens. As Ava works to process legal documents for the military, she crosses paths with Gunther Schneider, a German who is helping care for wounded soldiers. Ava questions why a man as gentle and kind as Gunther should be forced to live in the internment camp, and as they become friends, her sense of the injustice grows, as do her feelings for him. That sounds really good. I've read another book by Michelle Shockley. I haven't read any other ones by her, but I just hear amazing things about her books, so I have a feeling I'm going to like this. It already has 4.5 stars with 31 ratings, so I have a feeling it's going to be really good. And then the last book that comes out October 1st is Jamie Jo Wright's newest book, Spectres in the Glass House. So anything that Jamie Jo writes, I'm going to read. I still have like 4 books, I think, on her backlist that I need to get to, but all of them I am going to read at some point for sure. So this one is this not a dual timeline? Wait a minute. No way, wait. Oh no, I thought it wasn't dual timeline. I'm like, Jamie Jo Wright only writes dual timeline. Like, what's going on? But they didn't like actually put like a paragraph break in the description. That's why it confused me. All right, it is dual timeline. So 1921, Marian Arnold, the heiress to a brewing baron's empire, seeks solace in the glass butterfly house on her family's Wisconsin estate, as prohibition and the deaths of her parents cast a long shadow over her shrinking world. When Marian's sanctuary is invaded by nightmarish visions, she grapples with the line between hallucinations of things to come and malevolent forces and play in the present. With dead butterflies as the killer's ominous signature, murders unfold at a steady pace. Marian, fearful she might be next, enlists the help of her childhood friend Felix, a war veteran with his own haunted past. In the present day, researcher Remy Shaw becomes entangled in an elderly biographer's quest to uncover the truth behind Marian Arnold's mysterious life and the unsolved murders linked to an infamous serial killer. It sounds really good, and anything by Jamie Jo Wright is usually pretty good, so I'm excited for that one. October 8th releases a Christmas book collection, which I do have the whole book as a review copy on my Kindle, and I have not gotten to finish the whole book yet. But I did read one of the author's books because she sent it to me, and that's Mistletoe Season, and it's 3 Christmas stories by Sheila Roberts, Kathleen Fuller, and Pepper Basham. And you're going to want to read it because this story is kind of in the same world as her Skimar series. So if you enjoyed the Skimar series, you're going to want to pick up the short story collection just to read that short story. I read it and really enjoyed it. And I do plan on finishing up the other 2 books, which I actually probably do have to find on my Kindle. I don't know where it is at the moment, but I have to go find it. But I'm really excited to continue reading that one and hopefully finish the entire book. That way I can finally leave reviews. So that'll be a book I'm going to read during Christmas. Next book, Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn, comes out on October 15th. And I just had to get it because tea and elephants are like two of my favorite things. I mean, come on. They're amazing. So this one follows two girls ever since they met as teenagers volunteering at a conference center in Costa Rica 20 years ago. Fern Espinoza and Lily Graydon have shared a close friendship, even though they live in different states. They can hardly believe it when their teen dreams of traveling to Africa together becomes a reality. It's a trip of a lifetime, but life sure isn't what they thought it would be back when they were young. Along with their suitcases, each woman brings along emotional baggage that weighs heavily on them. Yet the people they meet and the places they experience have the power to change their hearts, but only if they surrender to the lessons God wants to teach them in this unexpected land of emerald tea fields, graceful giraffes, and rambunctious elephants. Safari stories, like, I don't even know if I've actually ever read one, but we need more of those in our reading lives. 100%. I love a good safari story. So I have a feeling this is going to be great. And I've worked with elephants in the past for a little bit, so I'm really excited to read this one. The next book comes out on October 22nd, and that is book 2 in, I don't know, oh, there we go, Chronicles of the Undersea Realm by L.E. Richmond. It is book 2. It's called The Locket's Revenge. So I can't really tell you anything about it. I do have book 1 somewhere on my bookshelf. But this series is a kind of Little Mermaid retelling, but more of like a retelling sequel, if you will. Like, we kind of like hear like the, you know, the folklore of Little Mermaid, and then it's kind of like a sequel of like what happens later on. So I really enjoyed the first book, and I have the second book that was sent to me by Enclave for a review. So I'm really excited to read the ebook for that. I think it's gonna be really great because I did enjoy book 1, and I don't want to let too much time pass because I did read book 1 like about 4 months ago. So I really need to read book 2 just so I don't forget anything. And then the last book for October, yes, the last book for October, which is probably one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and that is The Time Door by Shannon McDermott. It is book 1 in the Eternities. I think it's going to be a duology. I'm not sure. But, oh yes, it is. It says The Eternities duology. But, I mean, The Time Door, just the title and the cover with the blue and orange, I was like, yes, please. Like, I don't normally like blue and orange together, but it works in a sci-fi. So this is about a reckless last mission on Mars and a crusade for justice on Earth. Reuben Jackson is the only one who still cares about Mars. In the shambles of the Great Collapse, Earth has abandoned the Mars explorers to their fate. But Reuben will make a stand for the Mars team, even against the powerfully united politicians and scientists. In Too Deep, he discovers hidden conspiracies and unexpected allies. As the conflict mounts on Earth, time runs down on Mars. Left to face Mars alone, Commander Donegan Moynihan and his team have no hope of surviving after their supplies are gone. Willing to accept a quicker death than starvation, the explorers strike out on a dangerous mission. They venture deep inside the ancient volcano of Arzia Mons, into perils and secrets long buried. What they discover would move mountains on Earth, but will it be enough to save themselves? It sounds so good. I love a good sci-fi. I have found out I am a total sci-fi girly. Like, I have just read a few this year, and I'm like, I think I'm a sci-fi girly. Like, even, dare I say it, more than fantasy? I don't know. I just really like a good sci-fi book. So I'm really, really excited about this one. I do have an e-arc copy of it, so I can't wait to read that from Enclave. All right, now we're going into November. So not too many November releases, I don't think. I think we have maybe 3, 4. So there's more than I thought. All right, so the first one comes out November 5th, and it's A Truth Revealed by Tracy Peterson. This is book 3 in the Heart of Cheyenne series. And again, it's book 3, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it. But it follows a few different women in the Cheyenne, and I think they do kind of follow like a railroad that goes through there. And I enjoyed book 2, I think, a little bit more than book 1, although I think most people enjoyed book 1 more, but I think I like book 2. So we'll see what book 3 brings us. And this is another highly most anticipated release of the year, and that is Across the Ages by Gabrielle Meyer. It is book 4 in the Timeless series, and I already know she's working on, like, I think book 7 or something, or like it's like she's up to that point where like she has ideas for book 7, and I'm like, Like, how long is this series going to be, number one? Because honestly, most series aren't that long. Really. So I'm like, I'm very excited that Gabrielle Meyer's series has been so popular that the publishers want her to write more in the series, which I'm so excited about. So this one's actually going to be about one of my favorite things, pirates. I am so excited about that. So I am not gonna spoil myself. All I knew was when I heard it and it said pirates, I'm like, say less, Gabrielle. Say less. I will read it. So yeah, I'm not gonna read anything about it because I don't want to spoil myself. And I don't want to spoil you. But just know, if you love time travel, but like a really incredible, interesting twist on time travel, you need to pick up the series. You won't be disappointed. Every book has been fantastic. Then on November 17th comes out Cloaked in Beauty by Karen Whitmire. And I think this might be her last one. I don't know. But it's a Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty retelling. So in this one, we're following Letty Hood in the piney woods of Texas. She spent the last 15 years of her life hidden away with her grandmother to escape the deadly schemes of an uncle who wants her dead. Now, with her 21st birthday on the horizon, she is forced to accept the escort of a stranger and return to Houston in secret so she can claim a birthright that will make her one of the wealthiest women in Texas, if she lives long enough to inherit. Pinkerton agent Philip Carmichael has one get. I think that's a weird sentence. Pinkerton agent Philip Carmichael has one get the Radcliffe heiress home alive. Expecting a spoiled girl, Philip is surprised to encounter a woman of rare strength with a kind soul and keen wit. As they journey together, Letty's resilience wins his admiration, breaking through his hardened cynicism. Yet the threat to Letty grows more menacing with every mile, and Philip fears that keeping her out of harm's way may be just as impossible as keeping her out of his heart. That sounds amazing, and I think it's going to be really good. Oh, that comes out on December 17th. So 2 books come out on November 19th, and I think those are the only ones in November. So the first one is An Honorable Deception by Rosanna M. White, which is the 3rd book in the Imposter series. And I think this one follows the brother, I think, from the series. So I'm really excited about this. Again, not going to say anything, but just think like, circus performers mixed with detectives in historical time periods. So I did really enjoy the first book. Second book, not as much. So I'm really hoping the 3rd book I'll really enjoy because I think it is about the brother, and the brother was my favorite throughout the book. So we'll see. And then the last book in November is The Queen's Cook by Tessa Afshar. This is book 1 in Queen Esther's court. So there must be a few other books coming up. But this one says, in the heart of ancient Persia, the empire's Jewish citizens face an ominous edict that threatens their very existence. Roxana, the daughter of a once privileged but now impoverished Persian lord, is devastated by the news. Her father sees this edict as a stroke of good fortune, an opportunity to settle his mounting debts by killing the Jewish physician Aden and seizing his belongings. But instead, he meets his own untimely end, leaving Roxana destitute and adrift. Desperate and determined to support her mother while settling the debt, Roxana approaches Aden, the man whose kind eyes still haunt her, to help her find employment in Queen Esther's kitchens. Sounds really good, and I have enjoyed a lot of Tessa Afshar's books in the past, so I'm definitely getting a copy of that. The next one is So Into You by Kathleen Fuller, which comes out December 3rd, and that one, I think I have a NetGalley arc of. It says, opposites attract in this heartfelt rom-com about overcoming your past and embracing all that life has to offer. Britt Branch has a successful MyTube channel, where she teaches all kinds of art lessons. Obsessed with the 1970s, she has a style all her own and loves yacht rock. She also has a huge problem, severe social anxiety. She lives with her mom, and while she pays her own bills, she wonders if she'll ever have the courage to move out. When her best friend announces she's getting married, Britt thinks it's time to make a change. Gorgeous Hunter Pickett has always skated by on his model looks and applying very little effort to anything except sports, and even that was iffy at times. The 3rd son of extremely wealthy and successful parents, he's always been the black sheep of the family and has dealt with the issue by drinking and using drugs. When he lands in jail, he turns his life around. But by his 3rd year of sobriety, he's still dealing with aimlessness. When he catches Britt's channel, he's intrigued and ends up watching her videos, even though he's not interested in art at first. He reaches out to her, and they eventually become friends and make a deal. If she gives him art lessons, he'll help her with her social anxiety. So it sounds good. So it sounds like it's more of like a friendship to more, maybe. So I'm excited for that one. All right, the next one in December is coming out on December 3rd, and that is The Seaside Homecoming by Julie Clausen. This is the third book in the On Devonshire Shores, and so I can't say anything about it because it's book 3, but in this one we're following Claire, which I'm wondering why we didn't get a story about the other sister. Like, isn't there another sister, like the oldest? Maybe we won't get her story. I don't know. maybe there's a 4th book coming out. But that one, in this one, we're following Claire. And I honestly thought we had a Claire last time. I'm trying to find the book now. I don't know where it is. But this is very much, I feel like it's very reminiscent of Little Women. If you enjoy that story, because it's about 4 sisters and they kind of inherit their father's inn or house on the seaside, and they kind of make it into an inn to earn money. And I really enjoyed, book 1 was my favorite so far. And that's book 3 coming out. And I think that's all the books. So there were a lot of Christian fiction that's coming out this fall, which I'm really excited about. So there's lots of good ones. I hope you enjoyed this video. This one was a little bit longer because there were a lot of really good releases coming out in fall, which I was really surprised about. At first I was like, oh, there's not much I want to read, until you start looking. And then there's a lot. So I do want to give you a couple hints if you ever want to either create a video like this, or if you're just looking for new releases. NetGalley is one of the best things because you can look by publishers. So you can look up the Christian publishers like Bigger Publishing or Thomas Nelson or Revell, any of those or other ones, and you can see what's coming out. So you can see what new releases are releasing. So that's honestly the best way to do it. And also Baker Publishing always has a catalog of their new releases coming out, because they already have the spring one out. So go check that out. All right, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.